G'day, my fellow media collectors. I'm Troy, and today we're looking at Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a live-action superhero movie that was produced by New Line Cinema, DC Films, and the Safran Company. The film was released into theaters on the 17th of March 2023. Originally, the film was meant to have stronger ties to Black Adam, but Dwayne Johnson reportedly declined a crossover, preventing a Shazam vs. Black Adam showdown, leaving the writers to create new villains, the Daughters of Atlas, which are original characters inspired by Greek mythology, though they don't exist in the comic books. This movie has a runtime of 130 minutes. It was first released on Blu-ray on the 23rd of May 2023. And it was distributed by Warner Brothers Home Video. This movie follows Billy Batson and his foster siblings, who continue using their Shazam powers to protect the city of Philadelphia. However, their heroic journey takes a dangerous turn when the Daughters of Atlas, a group of ancient goddesses seeking vengeance, arrive on Earth to reclaim their stolen magic. As the villains unleash chaos, Billy must embrace his destiny as a true hero and lead his family in a battle to save the world from destruction. The script for this movie does deliver plenty of laughs, action, and heart. It also just doesn't quite manage to capture the magic of the first film. While it's an entertaining movie to watch, that's for sure, but it's just lacking in a few areas, and one of those is that there are way too many subplots going on at once, and it feels like it's a Shazam family movie and not a Shazam sequel, with it lacking a real tight character-driven storytelling that really made the original Shazam great. Then there is the forgettable and weak villains who are, well, underdeveloped and feel very generic at best, as the movie should have Shazam really facing off against Black Adam in this movie, but instead Shazam fought
I've already forgotten about it.
And last of all was really just the inconsistent tone, with the silly humor actually just getting ramped up a notch, undercutting really any seriousness that the movie really tries to set up with the plot. I mean, Shazam, he was just more goofy than usual, acting like almost like an 8-year-old in a grown man's body, instead of playing a teenager who's literally on the verge of adulthood, learning to be a hero. I mean, the script for this movie tries to be bigger, funnier, and more action-packed than the first one, but in doing so, it kind of loses what made the first Shazam special, if you know what I mean. And in doing that, it just doesn't do much to really elevate the Shazam franchise, unfortunately. That's why this is not that great of a sequel. Anyway, for that, I'm going to give this, at best, a 13 out of 30. This movie was adapted from the Shazam comic book character from DC Comics, of course, which this version is actually based off the new 52 one that they did a few years ago now. But overall, still has the same powers and abilities from the comics, and as before, nothing has really changed in that sense, which is great. I love it when they stick to the plan. But this time around, they've updated the suits, and I can't say I'm actually a fan of it. Look, they generally look good, don't get me wrong there, but there's just one thing that just bugged the hell out of me the whole time I was watching this movie, and that was these little yellow, little white tag thingies all over their suits. I mean, what was the point of those things? I just found them like super distracting, and I don't think they really added anything to the aesthetic of the suits. It almost kind of looked like, to me, it looked like someone left all the CGI markers on their suits, those little things they put on there for CGI, and someone forgot to take them out in post-production. It just looked silly.
Look how ridiculous they look.
Now the cast, I'll just pull them down from here. And as you can see, there is a lot here to go through. The cast is pretty extensive this time around, as everyone gets some more screen time than they had last time, which makes everything feel very cramped, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things. And because there are so many of them on this, for this I'm going to do like a quick lightning round, shall we say, and just do some quick takes on everyone as opposed to just sticking with a few. So let's start, of course, with our main star, Zachary Levi as Shazam. Now, Levi delivers his usual charismatic and fun take on Shazam. However, his portrayal feels just too goofy and immature compared to Asher Angel's Billy Batson, making it hard to believe that these two are exactly the same character. Asher Angel as Billy Batson, he was great, but he got a lot of less screen time this time around than he did in the first, which is a shame because he brings a really good grounded emotional depth to Billy that this film really needed more of. Jack Dylan Grazer as Freddie Freeman was one of those highlights from the first film, and in this sequel, I've got to say, he's given way too much screen time this time around, as his humour, which, don't get me wrong, worked well in small doses before, now feels a bit overbearing and over the top at times this time around, unfortunately. Rachel Zegler as Athena, I think she was just plain flat and forgettable. Her sole purpose was to be Freddy's love interest, which, I'm sorry, I didn't buy it. Helen Mirren as Hespera. Now, Mirren brings an air of regal authority and menace to the role, but her character lacks, well, any depth, which feels like Mirren's talents as an actor are just really wasted in this movie. Lucy Liu as Calypso. While Liu plays the most straightforward villain in this flick, she does bring a real commanding presence to her performance, but it feels like, how can I put it, a bit of a one-note character, as her character lacks any nuance, making her feel like the most generic villain you've ever seen. Jimon Hunsu as the Wizard, like everyone else, gets some more screen time this time around, and his interactions with Freddy are actually quite fun to watch. That was good. But his once powerful character and serious character is now actually just reduced to comic relief in this one. Look, at the end of the day, the cast is a real mixed bag of underused and underdeveloped characters trying to do the best they can with what they had. And for that, oh God, I'm going to go with, look, I'm going to give it an average actually. I'm going to go with 10 out of 20. Okay, let's have a look at the disc and case, and as you can see, I think that's a shot of the movie poster if I'm not mistaken. It's okay, it's nothing special. On the side, didn't really go too much into it there on the side. On the back, it's okay, like it's not too bad, it's average. And as I have a look at the disc, now as you can see, mass produced one, no colour, just the disc there with a Shazam on it. Overall, this is pretty standard stuff for the DC stuff. There's nothing special here in the sense of really making any effort, I suppose. It's just mass produced as they are. Look, overall, it looks okay. It's not too bad, but it's not anything to write home about. So for that, I'm going to go with 6 out of 10. Okay, so we have a few special features on this Blu-ray, and we have the director's audio commentary with David F. Sandberg, and a whole lot of featurettes, which include Shazam, Let's Make a Sequel, The Rock of Eternity, Decked Out, The Shazamly Reunion, The Zack Effect, The Sisterhood of the Daughters of Atlas, The Mythology of Shazam, and lots of deleted scenes as well. So there is heaps there to, if you're interested, there's heaps to keep you there. But look, I can't say it really added much for me. It just felt a bit more like filler than killer, shall we say. With a lot of the featurettes, there just feels like there's it's like a lot of the actors just banging on about how great each other are, as opposed to, hey, let's talk about the movie and how good the movie is. They're kind of praising themselves up a bit more. Anyway, that's what it felt like to me. So even though it's got something, I don't really rate it. So for that, look, I'm probably going to give this a 4 out of 10. As I bring up the Rotten Tomatoes scorecard, as you can see, the critics came in at, okay, yeah, 49%. While the audience score came in at, 85%. Okay, I wasn't expecting that much of a difference in score here, but look, for only probably the second time I can think of, I'm actually going to go with the critics on this one, as I feel it's a bit of a middle of the road type sort of stuff. It's fun to watch, but it just doesn't really capture the things that it got right in the first movie. But God, 85%, wow, some people really enjoyed it. Oh well, if you're one of those people, more power to you. But for me, I'm going to go with the critics on this one. I think they've got it right this time. Anyway, if we round it all out, we're going to get a score of 6 out of 10. Now, I've already gone on the record when I reviewed the first film way back when I first started out this channel, and which some of you may have seen. And I absolutely love the first one. It just got so many things right. But this time around, it was just a bit hit and miss for me. It really was. Look, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed watching the film, if you know what I mean, but it was just okay this time around. I think for me, there were two main things that just let it down for me, and that was they spread themselves too thin this time around, trying to have a story for all the Marvels, and just didn't focus on our main hero that the movie's about, if you know what I mean. You know, let's focus on him.
There's just too much going on here.
And the second has to be the weak ass villains we got served up, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's ego got in the way, and he thought he was too good to fight Shazam, and he wanted to take on, yes, Superman instead, and be the head of the DCU.
Who the hell does he think he is?
Hey Dwayne, how's that working out for you?
In retrospect, it was a poor choice.
Yeah, thought so. Anyway, though, if Black Adam and Shazam went at it in a second movie, it would have done gangbusters at the cinema, as everyone was hanging out for that. So there's my two biggest gripes about this movie, which is a shame, as like I said, the first one was great and I absolutely loved it, but they really missed the boat on this one. And for that, me personally, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 20. For availability, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5, as it is super common. You can pretty much pick it up anywhere at your local retailers or online. For collectability, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5, as if you're a completist, by all means, but if you're not and it's not your bag, don't worry about it. The average price, you are looking at somewhere between $10 to $48 for the Blu-ray version, so as I always say, pays to shop around. Let's go to the scorecard and see how this one shapes up. Now for the final score, we get a grand total of 47 out of 100. So there you have it, a middle of the road score for a middle of the road movie. Enough to keep you entertained, but just not enough to sink your teeth into, which is a real shame. I wonder if Shazam will make his return in the James Gunn universe. Probably not with this effort.
It's far-fetched, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Next week on the show, we are looking at what I picked up for the month of March 2025. So make sure you tune in for that and see what I got a hold of. Thanks for watching.